What is up, everybody? Welcome back to another weather forecast here by Adrian Weather Forecast, and this will be a forecast here on major windstorm Quade, as it has now been named. And as well, we have warnings all the way from portions of Georgia up to the east coast near New England. So we're really watching out as major windstorm Quade is starting to get its act together, and heavy snow is developing, and it'll continue all the way up to tomorrow and even Monday, and bring extremely heavy snow, potential whiteout conditions for portions of the upper northeast, including New York City, even Boston as well. So definitely something to keep in mind. If you guys want to get updated on major windstorm Quade throughout today, be sure to subscribe and hit the post notification icon so you get notified as soon as I do a video. I'll be looking at who can get the worst snow, who can get the most accumulation of snow, timing wise, and all that throughout this video. And as well, I'll be posting again later this afternoon. So be sure to stay tuned around the evening hours when I'll do my other update on this major winter storm. But without further ado, let's get in the video. So here's now a look at the National Weather Service here, and as you can tell, we do have a lot of winter weather alerts across the eastern United States here, all the way from Georgia up to the New England region and Boston here as well. We do have our second part of this system here that's currently bringing extremely heavy snow across portions of the central plains and portions of the Ozarks here. So we'll be having two low pressures that will eventually connect and kind of submerge together by tomorrow, creating a monster nor'easter here that can bring in potentially a few inches per hour in the northeast here. But as of now, we do have windstorm warnings all the way from the Great Smoky Mountains and areas as well, into the Chattahoochee Forest in Georgia, the Great Smoky Mountains in North Carolina, all the way up to the New England coast here in areas like Newport. New York City as well has now been issued under a windstorm warning earlier today. Warnings again for DC, portions of central and western Virginia, as well even eastern West Virginia. So we do actually have those warnings here in this kind of small alley right here where we will be seeing that heavy snow. And then we do have winter weather advisories all the way, of course, from Georgia, Tennessee, all the way up as well into the tri-state area here. And we do have a few watches as well in areas like Boston, Hartford, Connecticut, and as well even Northern Rhode Island here. And then, of course, we have advisories in effect now for Chicago, as well Western Michigan, and much of the Ozarks and Southern Midwest there in areas like Kansas City, St. Louis, Jefferson City, St. Joseph, and as well some warnings maintained in central and southern Nebraska, as that's where we'll be seeing up to maybe around 8 to 10 inches of snowfall in the next few hours here, all the way up to tomorrow. So definitely something to keep in mind. A major windstorm Quade that's going to bring in heavy snow from the south to the east, to the really eastern corridor, basically. So even some snow near Richmond, Dover, Atlantic City. So definitely something to keep in mind. But let's go ahead and take a look now at the timing and who can get the heaviest snow. So this is now a look in the next few hours here. We will start to see that snow kind of continue to develop across portions of those higher elevations there in Georgia and North Carolina. And there you see this other system right here, this second low pressure bringing in some snow across Columbia, Springfield, Chicago, Springfield, Illinois as well. So both Springfields for really Missouri and Illinois will get some snow. But as we not get late in the next few hours here overnight, we will start to get some very heavy snow developing across areas near even northern Georgia, Greenville, South Carolina, Helen, Georgia, Gainesville, Georgia. Of course, I might get some very heavy snow according to the ARRR. Even maybe some mix in Atlanta according to the latest ARRR, the 17Z. As well, going to start seeing that snow connecting there in St. Louis by tonight, Evansville, Indiana, Poplar Bluff, and then there you see that snow continues now into areas like Gainesville, northern Georgia, some very heavy snow down near Greenville, Asheville, maybe Charlotte. May get some actually heavy snow, some dangerous icy conditions. Raleigh, Durham may actually get some extremely heavy snow and ice threats, but Greenville is just going to miss out. And then we'll have, as that cold air comes from that backside and that high pressure up there in the Midwest, we will have some snow connecting there into areas like Knoxville, Lewisburg, and then we see it's obviously the ARRR only goes 18 hours out, but the next 18 hours may get some snow there in Virginia and continue to see that snow across those higher elevations there in the Appalachians. Here's now a look at the NAM 3 kilometer. This goes 60 hours out, so this one can give you a detailed forecast for this whole storm. So there's that backside here, this low pressure. However, the main low pressure is actually in the southeast right now, because that's going to be the low pressure that goes kind of off the coast here, making it a nor'easter. So there you see that heavy snow across areas like the Ozarks there in Fayetteville, Arkansas, portions of St. Louis, even all the way up to Chicago, even maybe Milwaukee. And there you see that snow kind of connects both systems. Of course, this main low pressure will be off the coast, but as we have that very cold air kind of on the backside of that low pressure, anything really far west of the low pressure, we'll see very heavy snow, like areas like Roanoke, areas as well near Charleston, West Virginia, Lewisburg, and as well even areas like Johnson City, Tennessee over tonight. And then as this low pressure continues to strengthen off the coast here, we may see whiteout condition for some areas here. Maybe DC may see extremely dangerous conditions in the next 24 hours here. New York City can start getting that snow tomorrow morning. Same thing as Pittsburgh, Charleston. Baltimore may see some extreme conditions. And look at New York City in the next 30 hours here. It's going to be an absolutely dangerous Super Bowl day across New York City. You may see blizzard conditions for a few minutes with some strong gusts there. DC, Dover, as well as areas like Long Island, another big coastal nor'easter here. And then we'll have kind of this moving out by kind of to really early Monday morning here. Snowfall totals according to the Maine European model here. We're having snow accumulations all the way from areas maybe Atlanta into areas like Nova Scotia basically, but may see a trace or so across Chicago, additional few inches there in the central plains like upper Missouri, southwestern Iowa, and of course we'll have those higher totals there into central Nebraska. But look at these totals here. I mean, the Maine European, which tends to be one of the most accurate snowfall models, has up to maybe an inch or a trace or so near Atlanta. They have up to a few inches there in upper Georgia, as well near Greenville may get 2 to 3 inches according to the European here. May even see half a foot in areas into east central Tennessee there. But look at this. They do have potentially near half a foot according, again, to the European has around half a foot or more in areas like Delaware, as well into areas maybe near Annapolis, Maryland, up to 5 to 6 inches there across DC there. So as this low pressure does continue to strengthen, this actually could potentially be a bomb cyclone. We'll be seeing those higher totals and stronger winds here across the mid-Atlantic coast here, all the way, again, accumulated snow from Georgia all the way up to areas like the Northeast. So these are the totals for the Northeast according to the Maine European, and you do see those heavier totals actually maybe right on the coast. So not only will it be like a coastal event, but we're talking the heavier totals will actually be on the coast here. I mean, up to near half foot or more near Cape Cod, but areas like Worcester, Massachusetts may only get 3 inches. So that's something you don't see too often. New York City, maybe 3 to 5 inches of snowfall, maybe even more than that. And look at that, as this low pressure may drop well below 20 millibars in 24 hours, we may see up to a foot or more across portions of Nova Scotia, and that's showing you how strong this low pressure can get. Now the latest at this is the latest 12Z GFS as well. They're really showing actually the highest totals for the Mid-Atlantic and really Southeast, staying in the Georgia and Carolina region, and not really getting too much snow across the Northeast here. And again, the GFS does have a history, and they still do have a history of really under forecasting storms. I mean, they only get around 2 to 3 inches across New York City, so a big total difference. I mean, they get really nothing for DC. That's really maybe a 6-inch difference, which is really a big deal here. So I do think that the European actually is more correct, but they got near maybe half foot near Asheville. Nothing got off for Nashville. Around maybe around an inch or so for Gainesville, a few inches there for Greenville, and maybe even a trace to anything to 3 inches there for Richmond. So here's like now the GFS for the Northeast. Again, the heaviest totals, they do agree with the models that the heavier totals will be off the coast or right on the coast, but really a big difference though, only around a few inches for Cape Cod, only a few inches there as well for Rhode Island and those general regions here. So I really do think the GFS is continuing to under forecast this storm here for not only the Southeast, but this whole region across the Eastern Corridor. This is now the next 18 hours for the HRRR, the 17Z, up to around 3 to 5 inches left to come across portions of the Midwest there in upper Missouri, even as well in southeastern Iowa, and maybe Chicago may get an additional 2 inches from this storm here. So Chicago, you guys have that snow still from Orleana, since the temperatures won't get out of the teens from this major Arctic blast. So snow, whatever snow came from Orlena is going to stick. So basically, you're going to see an additional 2 to 3 inches there, adding on to Orlena's total. So may see well over a foot by the end of today here. Or by the end of, I guess, tomorrow. HRRR is a little bit more reasonable. They actually have maybe an inch or two just out of Nashville. Again, Nashville's like right here. So really the totals will be kind of more into East Central and maybe Central Tennessee, a few inches there near Murfreesboro, maybe 2 to 4 inches there across this general region, Upper Tennessee. But of course, right here in these higher elevations there, Gainesville looking at maybe around an inch or so, according to the HRRR. Atlanta may get a trace. Again, I think the storm is really unpredictable because, I mean, even though it's supposed to happen today, it's already bringing snow across these areas, like in the Appalachians, but models are all over the place. I mean, some people say up to 0 inches for some areas, some have it to 9 inches, some 4, some 3. It's a really big difference here. So Atlanta, really, models like HRR, European are getting snowfall for you guys, but only right a trace. But if you look at the Weather Channel and AccuWeather, they get nothing for you. So I think it's going to be, it's really unknown right now, but a few inches there, of course, upper Georgia there, maybe Greenville, 1 to 2 inches there. You guys are right on that border within a trace to 5 inches. So Greenville can have a big range here. Let's take a look now at the NAM 3 kilometer. They have up to around a trace or so near Gainesville, Georgia, a few inches there near Helen and Blue Ridge. Again, getting around an inch or so for Chicago, a few inches there off of Lake Michigan near Muskegon. A few inches there, of course, in the Ozarks there near Fayetteville, may get around 3 to 4 inches there. Poplar Bluff may get a trace or so, dropping around an inch maybe if it's lucky. But the NAM is showing some snow there for Nashville, around an inch or so. But again, just the East Central Tennessee may get near half a foot. May get around, again, a few inches there across Upper Georgia. But look how intense they have it. So NAM 3 kilometers really agreeing with the European on here. So once you get the NAM and European agreeing, that's when you can probably kind of side with them here. But getting around half foot across DC, near maybe a foot or more across those higher elevations in West Virginia and Virginia border right there outside of Roanoke. And let's go ahead and zoom in here and see what they're showing for areas like the Northeast. So this is what the NAM has for the next 40 hours out. So they actually have up to around a half foot across New York City, around anywhere from 6 to 8 inches. But look, there you see those higher totals right out near Cape Cod there, near maybe 9 inches of snow. Same thing with Newport. Boston may get half a foot. And look at that coastal Maine. Could be a big storm for Portland, Augusta. So definitely something to keep in mind here for those coastal areas. And let's go ahead and zoom in here. New York City may get around 7 to 8 inches there, of course. Areas outside, maybe Scranton, a few inches there. Allentown may see around anywhere from 4 to 6 inches. Look at Long Island, another big storm for Long Island, anywhere from 8 to 4, not 8, 14, but anywhere from 6 to maybe 10 inches of snowfall. I may see around half of course, for Hartford, New Haven, much of Connecticut in general. Pittsfield may get around 3 to 5 inches according to the NAM. She got DC, 5 to 6 inches there around the Providence there. May see around a foot or so across the border with Virginia and West Virginia, where we have, of course, extremely higher elevations there. Getting no snow really for Richmond, nothing for Salisbury. Dover may actually get half foot or so. Big storm for Wilmington. Philadelphia, according to the NAM, around a half foot or so. And then Boston, a big storm, of course, for Cape Cod, maybe a foot, according to the NAM. 9 to 10 inches there for Boston, a big storm here. So definitely, Windstorm Quade is going to bring extreme conditions here for these areas. But hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will post again later today, so be sure to stay tuned. But bye, guys.